All right, Chris, we're back here with another week of Silver Shield Behind the Strike. Before we get into the this week's new releases, I wanted to start with what happened since last week.
Well, basically, what I've seen, I just looked at the phone just now, and silver's down $4.46 down to $66. This is another attack from the paper silver markets to suppress the price of silver, and they've been doing this successfully for generations. So this is not something new. But one thing that's important for all silver stackers is to not value their silver in terms of dollars, but in terms of ounces. And the quality of ounces, I think, is very important too, because you could have generic bullion that rises and falls with these price manipulations, or you can have a silver shield strike that is immune to these price manipulations. So when the price of silver goes down $5 or $6 or something like that, um, the price of Silver Shield previously released mintages tend to hold their value better than generic government bullion does. So I try to. That's why I do this every week. Come out with two brand new designs, and if they're on sale because the spot price is down, they're doing a great job with it.
A lot of people remember you giving warning signs, throughout the many years that you've been doing this, about silver, debt, fiat, the collapse of the digital illusion, wealth. Do you feel that the world's finally catching up with the message? Do you feel that even though we had a little dip right now, the growth that we had for the past 2 or so years?
Silver definitely breaking out through 50 has sent shockwaves through the financial paradigm out there. So I definitely think that we're closer than where we were when we were below 50. But now that we've touched 120 and now it's still hovering around 60, we don't have that confidence that we had going into this after the last time. It went through 50, then 60, then 70, then 80, and 90 was going up parabolic, and then it got slammed down, in a couple days like they've done before. But what eventually is going to happen is we're going to have a part where silver's just going to physically sell out, and all these paper schemes are going to fall apart at the exact same time. And it's going to be the single largest event in human history, I believe, because it's all the power of the world, financial power, political power, technological power, energy, and military power all revolves around silver in some way. And what I'm trying to bring about is a spiritual power of silver that silver stackers stack and value their silver not in terms of dollars and watching the price go up and down, but really seeing it as an invaluable, priceless treasure that we should be holding on to for future generations. Like this is the only way of transferring our wealth tax free from one generation to the other then that is available to us because silver has a loyal title, which means if you own it, you're the owner of it, and nobody else can lay claim to it. All these other digital illusions of wealth all have counterparty risk, taxation, inflation, all sorts of ways of taking your wealth from you. But silver remains the best form of wealth at the very tip of Exeter's pyramid. John Exeter was a central banker for the Federal Reserve that created a Exeter's liquidity pyramid, showing what asset prices are worth when the liquidity drives up. And at the very tip of his pyramid was gold. And when I came to it, I put silver at the tip even more than gold because silver has 10,000 industrial uses that gold doesn't have, which makes it a lot more liquidity than what gold would have. Then I put silver shield at the very tip of the silver pyramid because silver shield is this exact little microcosm that has been there for 15 years trying to preach that this event, this life changing event's going to happen. And when it does happen, it's going to be the single largest event in human history. And that people that stack Silver Shield are going to be viewed as wise Jedi or wealthy kings on the other side. And that this is going to be the one way ticket of transferring their wealth from this paradigm into the next paradigm, where we'll be more like a silver age. It'll be like an age where all criminality will come to an end, that wealth will be transferred to the meek that stacked for so long and went through these trying times. I know it's taken a long time, but I'm telling you, we're very close to it having coming to an end now that we've gone through $50. We just need one more surge, and I think it'll break through permanently.
This week we have two new silver releases. We have Sitting Bull is released to the public. We also have Vote Nobody for the Silver Shield group member only release. The window runs Thursday, June 18th noon through next Thursday, June 25th at noon. So let's start with the public. Let's start with the Sitting Bull first. So Sitting Bull is part of the Chief series
Yeah.
and honors a real historic leader who stood for his people, his land, and the way of his life. So, what made Sitting Bull the right public release? What was your vision behind it, and what was part of the story that captured the design and the message behind it?
Well, the thing I like about Sitting Bull is that he was a leader of the Lakota that fought against the Western migration of all the settlers that came there, and he fought for his people. But he's mostly known for a peaceful revolt against it, and that's why they call him Sitting Bull instead of not Charging Bull. So that's why I felt that this was more of a public coin for a lot of people to get involved with. I think this is the fourth that I've done in the series, and I think there's two or three other ones that are left in the Chief series, and that'll be it for the Chief series. A lot of the series that I do tend to be ongoing because I always come up with new ideas, like the Death of the Dollar series and World War Meme. But the Chief series, there's only a few Chiefs that are really worth, um, you know, bringing out to the public for their release.
So now a lot of people know the name Sitting Bull, um, but they might not understand why he still matters. So, what should people understand about him before they actually look at the coin and your message behind it? And in time when people are questioning leadership everywhere, what makes Sitting Bull still feel relevant today, as of this moment?
I think because he's still in history, like he's still part of the story, even though his people got displaced and pushed aside. He still is in our history as a way of revolting against these systems. So I mean, I look at these people and political activists who stand against evil, even though the odds are overwhelming. They still stood up and they fought for their what they believed was right. And I think that silver stacking is a way for people to fight against the system and also protect themselves against the system. So the idea of putting this character of Sitting Bull on top of silver is like a force multiplier that, not only is it the silver that you get, it's the meaning behind the silver that you have.
All right, well, now let's move over to the Silver Shield group member only release,
Mhm.
and that is Vote Nobody. Now, this one has a completely different tone. Um, it is part of the World War meme energy,
Mhm.
but the message feels serious. None of the above, liberty for all, and nobody we trust. With the 2026 election cycle already, heating up, starting up, things are starting to roll with that. People are questioning, politicians, parties, whether the system actually represents them and the
Yeah.
people. What sparked Vote Nobody?
It's a design that I've done before. This is just a newer version of it. But for 2026, the midterm elections, my feeling is no matter who we vote for, we're screwed. All the politicians are bought off, they're blackmailed, they're paid off. That they don't serve the American people. You look at how much money we're spending overseas uh, to all these wars that keep going on, and people at home are just struggling to survive. And to me, having physical silver is the only way of protecting yourself from against the inflation that is occurring out there. Um, and it's going to be the single largest transference of wealth the world has ever seen when this happens because silver is going to sell out at the same time that it's going to be worth a lot more. I think it's going to be even worth more than gold. But as far as the politics goes, I can't tell you how many politicians and how many political fronts that I've gotten behind me. Like, this is the one that does it. There was the Tea Party, there was the Ron Paul movement, there was the Thomas Massey thing, and they all get shut down because they're just one individual against the monstrosity of a government that is, over all the power. Even if you were able to turn out all the politicians, there's 1.5 million full-time federal workers there that don't change based off of the politics. So the ingrained nature of the what we're up against is too large, and I think the only way to bring it down is for people to stack physical silver until the system pops and then all the power switches over to the people who have silver. It's in the past it was, he who has the gold makes the rules. I think this time it's going to be he who has the silver makes the rules. And so that's why I keep coming out every week with a new design that comes out on Chris Duane silvershieldcoins.com. And that's a way of stacking momentous silver that has historical meaning behind it, and a very rare and limited mintages.
For some people that look at the premiums, right,
Hmm.
for the coin, because you have spot price and then a couple dollar premium on top, um, and ask why they should buy silver, a silver shield instead of just, let's say, like a 1 ounce bar, or just cheap
Yeah,
silver in
I was the
general.
same way. And I think most stackers get into it where they want to get their ounce count up because they know that the ounces are going to count. Silver Shield is the extreme end of all silver stacking out there. That's why I'm at the very tip of $2.5 quadrillion worth of Exeter's pyramid. That down the liquidity goes from like cryptos, derivatives, stocks, real estate, bonds, cash, gold, down to Silver Shield, all the way at the very tip. The premium that you're paying for is the rare limited quality or limited quantity of silver shields that are produced out there. So when the premiums are high, it makes for a more rare coin, and that the people that own them tend to hold them for a long time. They're not into just trading them. And then I would tell people to get into silver shield because the silver shield goes up faster when the price of silver goes up fast, and when the price of silver collapses, like we're seeing today, down $4 or $5, the premium on the silver shield's not going to go down. It's going to be stay the same or still go up higher depending on how it goes up. So I would tell people, look at what I've done for 15 years on Silver Shield over on eBay and see that these coins have held their value, and if some of them have gone up. I believe that there's even some that are out there that are too valuable to even trade, that they haven't been on market for years, and we're going to shock the world one day when the price of silver goes up and that these coins come back onto the market and fetch thousands of dollars, worth far more than the ounces of silver that they're in there. And you're seeing it already on eBay in a down market.
Now, for people that are watching these interviews every week, what kind of questions do you want them to start asking you in the comments, or even to themselves? Is there
How
anything in
can they help?
particular?
That's what I would like. How can you help if you believe in what I'm saying, that this is going to be the single largest transference of wealth the world has ever seen, that Silver Shield is at the very tip of quadrillion-dollar Exeter's liquidity pyramid, and that my vision is right, and that I've been doing it for 15 years, and I come out on a weekly basis to goad you to buy the latest Silver Shield to get you to support this system. I've watched Pokemon cards, I've watched sneakerheads, I've watched NFTs, I've watched cryptocurrencies, I've watched all these other people pump and dump all these other digital illusions of wealth. Meanwhile, I've been the only one to stay on the path of physical silver only in your possession and provided a silver shield to do this. So, what I would like to hear from people, quite honestly, is how they can help. And the best thing you can do is comment, like, share, follow, get these things out there and be a part of it, and go collect the older versions while they're still there. If you have silver shields that are selling for double digits on eBay, you should buy them up because they're being sold for a very low price. If you see a silver shield that you like, know that it's probably the only one that you're going to see out there because they're in very solid hands. The people that buy most silver shield, especially the silver shield group, that's probably the best way of supporting me, is just a $7 monthly payment to the Silver Shield group to get limited access or exclusive access to the Silver Shield coin on a weekly basis that is going to be worth a lot more than you're going to be able to buy a Silver Eagle. I just saw that the U.S. Mint last month sold 0 silver last month, that all the dealers are full up. So I technically outsold the U.S. Mint last month because I sold a few hundred Silver Shield coins. But what is even more crazy, I just went to this U.S. Mint website today, and they're selling a half-ounce Liberty Bell for, guess how much?
Not much.
$750
Half out.
for a half ounce. So
That's
people
crazy.
complain about my premiums. They should go look at what the U.S. Mint is trying to sell their coin for. So that would be equivalent of a $1,500 an ounce silver coin. Mine are nowhere near that. We're probably right around $100 right now for a Silver Shield coin. And you go out on the eBay and they could be worth 130, 100, 200, 250. I've seen ones that go for $1,100, and I've seen even some that go for $9,999. I don't know what's going on with those, but I've seen them, and they're on eBay. So I think that one of the best things you can do is join the Silver Shield group. The $7 a month is not going to hurt anybody, and it'll certainly be a big help for me. and if it give you exclusive access to get this week's Silver Shield coin, which is called Vote Nobody, and that's because nobody's coming to save us. That's the ultimate story of that coin. Nobody's coming to save us. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to make this right. You're the only one that's going to do it, and it's going to happen through stacking physical silver as a means of protecting yourself and fighting against this incredible system that is rigged from top to bottom. The financial system's rigged, the political system's rigged, the military system, the law enforcement, the judiciary, the educational system, the health system. Every exit is blocked except for physical silver. And when it breaks through, it's going to be the biggest event in human history. And I hope that one day that this reaches out to a lot more people so that people get excited about it like I do.
This week's releases are available from Thursday noon, June 18th through Thursday noon, June 25th at Chris Duane SilverShieldCoins.com. We have Sitting Bull, which is available to the public. We also have Vote Nobody, which is available to Silver Shield group members. If you are watching this during the window of release, please make sure to check in, become a member. Make sure you hop on to the Chris Duane SilverShieldCoins.com. We have a member link there. Drop your thoughts, comments, questions, and for any of the future episodes. Chris, thank you, and we'll see everyone next week.
All right. Thank you very much.